Ahoy there, mates! All aboard! Financial freedom awaits. MyTrade proudly presents the Navigator, the newest, easiest, and brightest fundamental tool from MyTrade's renowned research team. Be guided in your investing voyage. Get the best stock picks, sound long-term strategies, and valuable information about the companies that you're buying. Follow the light. The Navigator. Better your tomorrow.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. How are you? How's everyone? Yeah, I'm back. Hopefully, you will. I sound better today. After 2 years of lockdown uncertainties, 2022 must be shaping up to be a big recovery year for the stock market. Hold your horses. It may not be as simple as that. The road may not be so straight. The recovery route may involve detours and reroutes. So here we are in Crossroads, the 2022 market outlook. Hello everyone. Good afternoon. How are you? I've been seeing a lot of people sharing where they're watching us from. Thank you so much for your well wishes. I also receive the sending me message of get well soon. Thank you so much. It's not an easy ride. It's actually you just have to keep on going. Oh, there's a name pa. Hello, good afternoon. I'm quite okay na. I tested negative na yesterday in antigen. So we'll always find ourselves in choosing between things. The moment we open our eyes, should I get up or stay in bed? What breakfast should I eat? What type of egg should I eat? Like, if is it boiled? Is it sun side up? Is it scrambled? What more decision? There are more decisions in life than just sometimes we say it's a pivot point, but every day is a decision making. Every day there's something that we have to decide on, something good or bad, something better or something great. Today we'll open our awareness that we are in a pivot point of doing what's best for our trading and investing disposition. All right, so let me now just to break the ice. I just want to ask a little decision making in terms of being locked down for 2 years, not being able to travel. Who among you, I want to share this poll. We have decided also, thank you for those who registered via simple ticks. We will include all those who registered in our raffle later on, but for now we would just like to have a poll. We will be going live in our Facebook right now. I'll be adding our Facebook page for more people to watch this live, and more people will be able to listen to our speakers. Three coaches in one event, three topics that I think a lot of people will be able to be interested in terms of investing and trading in the stock market. But for now, tignan muna natin. This is something that I'm curious to know. Hand on heart, long drive or long flight? I mean, we've been wanting to travel, right? And based from your experience in the past 2 years, ano ba yung this is a live poll, so you can answer and it will automatically change. I just want to see who among you misses long drives or prefer long drives and afraid of doing a flight, or still up to now couch for life. Hindi talaga siya gustong mag-travel ever. Makita natin na I asked some people a while ago, tested the poll, and someone answered couch for life. Unbelievable, di ba? Meron talagang mga friendly introverts tayo na watchers na talagang regardless of being able to not to travel or not to do anything exciting for the last 2 years, still chose to have to be on the couch, or mga couch potatoes talaga sila. Ayan. So hi Randy Vasquez. Yeah, I miss you guys in the last touch base. It's actually also the reason why we postponed the initial date where we're supposed to have Outlook, so I can be with you guys. So just okay, from JC Dasala says long drive ang gusto naman niya. Long flight, nananalo ang long flight. I think a lot of people here have been, wanting to go to UK, to, the flights that has 8 hours and above. May mga long drive. Yan, long drive pa rin. It's more of bonding. You get to pass a lot of sceneries sa side road, and you want to stop. Ayan. Long flight naman daw si Carlene. Long drive from some long drive. Oh yeah, there's an echo. I just can't stand right now. Wait Mawawala yan later. Long drive, you'll be able to see and encounter a lot. Ayan, so long drive. Long drive. Ayan, nawala na ba? Okay, nananalo ang long drive. So a lot of people still are fond of, driving, and sometimes kasi they said some of the drivers therapeutic daw ang driving. Yan, wala nang echo, 'di ba? Okay. Yeah, so si Liberto, sabi niya Northern Luzon. From Rian, Budol drive travel anywhere. So konti lang pala, 16% of our viewers still prefer to be on the couch after 2 years of being locked down. Sige, now we will open our Facebook page. So we can be viewed by our Facebook viewers, also in our MyTreat community and on Map. Later on, the usage of our tickets will be used for the raffle draw that we will have after every talk that we will have. Okay? So, ready na ba kayo dun sa ating first topic? Later on, we will have more polls. But, let's remove na this. Ayan. Please do share this with your friends and family members. I hope more and more people will, be able to know the right information. It's really good that you're not be persuaded by stuff that there's no basis, or alam natin na hindi natutukan, but sometimes it's just cut and copy and paste, na sinishare lang. And this is very important that we are gonna share with you experts that would give you the insights in the market like no other. Okay. All right. So without further ado, let me introduce the first speaker for today.
Mr. Justin T. Liu is the chairman and director of Figaro Coffee Group Incorporated. He is also the vice president of the Mercantile Insurance Company Incorporated. Prior to serving in his current positions, he was vice president of research in Evergreen Stock Brokerage and Securities Incorporated and operations manager of Pizza Tech and Foods Corp. Domino's Pizza. He holds a Master of Science in Financial Analysis degree from the University of San Francisco and a Bachelor of Science in Business Management and Entrepreneurship degree from the LaSalle University.
All right. So proud, and I am glad that I'll be with him on screen because the last time I wasn't able to interview him. Let us all welcome the owner of the Figaro Coffee Group. Nasa na ba yung props ko? May props ako pinreview. Yung mug ko ng Figaro. Let's welcome Sir Justin. Hello, Sir Justin.
Hi, good afternoon, China. Nice to
Ayan.
be here. Yeah, good to be here with you.
Thank you for being with us, and I will give you the floor, and later on, the crowd will be able to ask you questions about your talk.
Hello, China.
Yes, sir. All right, I'll give you the floor now. You can start your talk, and then I'll be back later.
All right, so good afternoon, everyone. I think today we're supposed to be talking about cryptocurrencies and stocks. A little bit of context lang. Of course, I'm not an expert in cryptocurrency. I do have some familiarity with the financial markets, and I did teach some financial market subjects before in graduate school. So, context, of course, if we need to look at crypto and stocks, we need to see their performance. So, if we look at the 2021 performance, some interesting things are to note is that the cryptocurrency market actually tripled, and the whole market cap of the crypto market now is at $2.23 trillion. So isn't that crazy? It tripled in 1 year, and it just shows that so much, so much, so much money has come into the cryptocurrency market globally. So let's look at some of the top performing cryptocurrencies in 2021. And you guys might be shocked on their performance. So, as you all know, the most famous cryptos are Bitcoin. Bitcoin actually registered a 62.7 increase in 2021. Its market cap now is at $790 billion. Ethereum or Ether registered 422% increase. Its market cap now is at $372 million. And I'm sure many of us Filipinos are familiar with Axie Infinity. So this one registered an insane 12,000% increase in 2021. Some of the meme stocks also came about, like Dogecoin and Shiba Inu. Shiba Inu was actually the top performer in 2021 with 42 million% increase. So its price in the start of 2021 was like 0.0000077. Now it's at 0.0000275, and its market cap rose to $40 billion out of basically thin air. Some of the other best performing ones are Terra, Luna, 13,790% increase, Solana 11,200, and of course Dogecoin, which Elon Musk kind of made pretty famous with his tweets. It went up 3,000%, 3,114% to be exact. As opposed to the Philippine Composite, let's look at how the Philippine Composite Index performed. In 2021, it started at around 7,139, and it ended at 7,215. 54. So if you look at it percentage wise, we only went up around 1.6%. And of course, if we compare it to the individual best performing cryptocurrencies, it sounds so small. But actually, if you look at the top performers in the PSE, that within the Philippine Composite Index, so the top performing stocks within the Philippine Composite Index, it actually tells a different story. So some of the top performers within the PComp is actually a Converge, registered 121% increase. Wilcon Depot, 77.8. Globe, 65%. ICTSI, 56.7. AC Energy, 39.7. PLDT, 37%. And it's, to me personally, I find this very amazing because these companies are so big, but they registered what the minimum was PLDT 37%, Globe 65. I find that really amazing. But if we look at the stocks, the Philippine stocks outside the main index, so, there are really high flying performers as well, such as Evergotesco, 277%, ACE, Nexor, 230%, Del Monte Pacific, 127%, as well as GMA Network, 127% as well. Ginebra San Miguel, 124.7%. Truly amazing. So, looking at this context, what would be the difference? Personally, I don't have any crypto because I'm scared of the volatility and I'm afraid that I might not sleep well at night. To give you an example of volatility, if you look at Bitcoin, let's say you had Bitcoin early January 2021, and it went to around $60,843 per Bitcoin in April. But in um, June, it went down to 31,000. So that's almost a 50% drop from April. If you look at Ethereum, in May, it was at 3,852. In June, it went down to 1,767, which is about 54% down. But it still rallied to 4,600 to in November. So from that down in June of 1,700, it went up 163%. What I'm saying is it's very volatile. So as opposed to the Philippine Composite Index, in January, it was near the high in January, 7,238. And in May, it went down to around 6,100. So that's only around a 14% decline. Personally, I can't stomach the volatility, so I don't have cryptocurrency. But to sum it up, I would say that these are all different asset classes. So you have crypto, you have stocks, you have bonds, cash, commodities, preferred stocks, or even alternative assets like metals. These are all different asset classes, and one has to really assess your own risk profile, your risk appetite, your investment objectives, and create your balanced portfolio which matches your own investment goals. If you probably have more risk appetite, you're younger, perhaps you can set aside like a little speculative portfolio, speculative fund, and then you can play around with cryptocurrencies. And as you know, stocks are different from cryptocurrencies because cryptocurrencies are basically moved by really buying and selling. There's no company behind these. There's no real cash flows. It it's really quite speculative on which platform, which crypto will be used more. Will it be still more Bitcoin, or will it go to an Ethereum, or will it go to these other platforms? You see Axie, it's quite volatile because when the game was so famous, the price really went up. So now it's a bit down. Nobody really knows where it's going to go. While with stocks are actually real businesses with real sales, real cash flows. But of course, we don't know the price ranges, the volatility, the movement is not as much as cryptocurrency. So you can't expect like thousands of percent gain in a year, like 10,000 for like 12,000 for Axie. That's probably impossible for stocks. But finally, to just cap it off, I would say that again, it depends on your risk appetite. It's important to watch and learn about all these different asset classes, but also match your portfolio balancing with your goals. And you know, Warren Buffett has a favorite saying of his mentor, Benjamin Graham. In the short term, the stock market is a voting machine, but in the long term, it's a weighing machine. So what does he mean by this? You know, voting machine, people buy and sell perhaps based on short-term views, based on emotions, and this is what moves the stock and probably cryptocurrencies. But in the long term, the market is a weighing machine where the short-term sentiments are gone, and it really shows the long-term price really shows the underlying value of the company. So you see like these big companies in the Philippine Composite like Globe, Ayala Corporation, SM. These are they've really gone up steadily over the years, and the market has really showed that it has weighed the fundamental values of these companies, not only on their technicalities, but especially on their fundamentals, their cash flow, and the business per se. So I think that kind of sums up what I'm trying to explain today for crypto and stocks. Thank you.
Thank you, Sir Justin. So there you have it. Sir Justin said that he cannot stomach the volatility of the cryptocurrency. So no one's telling you not to be in it. It's just that you have to know your risk appetite. So Justin, just to ask, there are questions in the crowd, and but first, I just want to ask you, when did you become interested in terms of investing in the stock market and in different asset classes? Is it something that you have seen growing up? What made you interested in this type of investing?
Yeah, that's a good question, China. Actually, when I was in college in LaSalle, my favorite subject was finance, corporate finance, and then I had a good friend who was an investment banker for UBS, and he would always wear a suit and talk to private clients, advise them on their portfolio. So I told myself I'm very interested in this. So I went to University of San Francisco. I took up a master's in finance. I worked in a boutique investment bank there for a while, and then I helped out in Evergreen for a bit. And that's when I really learned about that the world, everything that we do every day is actually um, based on the financial markets. So even inflation, oil futures, commodities, all of this affects us, even if we don't understand. But it's really important for us to understand these things. And money, as even if we sometimes don't want to think about it, it really affects our lives. And the more we are knowledgeable, the more we educate ourselves, the more we can make better informed decisions.
That's really nice to hear, sir. Just imagine if you are, some, because I've heard from your interview, with Rainier last time, if you are not in this business, you're probably in the priesthood, which, in and these are all different things. Like so if there's one person that has probably been in so many crossroads, it's probably you. So in terms of choosing, like the interest in, in stocks, in investment, your business right now, and the calling of being a priest, how did you manage? What's your like the turning point of you making that decision into all of the things that, in that might lead to really totally different direction? How do you manage to, to decide on these things? Are you the type that assesses the pros and cons, or are you a type of guy who looks for signs? How do you do all of these things in terms of, talking about crossroads?
Yeah. Actually, I would say the most important thing really is balance. So these are things. All of these things are things that I'm interested in. Business, food, insurance, financial markets, and spirituality. Prayer. So these are things that I'm interested in, and I try to explore all of them when I have time. And I try to balance all of these because it's just like a portfolio way. You can't be all in one stock. You can't just put all your money under the mattress in cash. We need to grow in every aspect of our lives, whether it's finance, health, spirituality. And I think these are the things that make a rich and balanced life for me.
And one thing I'm curious about is, how did the Pizza name came about? Like, why did you name it as that? And I'm really curious because I really like the pizza name, Hallelujah Mozzarella. That's really, I think I find it really witty. But how did you come about that particular brand name, and from Figaro to Angel's Pizza?
Yeah. Well, actually, Angel's Pizza, the name came from my mom. So my mom is also very spiritual and prayerful, and she would always mention, we need to call on our guardian angel. So when we were conceptualizing this brand, she said, "Angel's Pizza, Angels." So ayun, my family and my father, we all agreed on it, and it actually clicked, and it's a great theme. So like, Hallelujah Mozzarella. So when we were creating this, well, for the
Like,
viewers knowledge, Hallelujah Mozzarella is actually our pizza flavor, which has more than two times the topping of 100% mozzarella cheese. So, if you want the cheese pull for, kids and people who love cheese pizzas, this is the
wow.
best. So we when we were thinking of the name, we thought, how can we make it like, like amen, this is it. So someone mentioned hallelujah. So yeah,
Nice.
umbrella.
That's really good. Actually, the audience, I was reading the questions during the touch base. Ito, last na lang to na about the company. But, because these are the things that I wasn't able to ask because I wasn't the host on that day. But sir, the Angel's Burger, have you thought of, probably they will link it to Angel's Burger during the time that you are going to launch Angel's Pizza?
Actually, marami nagtanong na yan na, are you related to Angel's
Yeah.
Burgers? It's the same owner. We're not. It's a separate company. But I'm very happy when people mention it, because Angel's Burger is actually a very amazing brand, and their branch network is so huge. Everyone knows Angel's Burger, and the Angel's
Exactly.
Pizza is also a Filipino brand. So I'm glad that two good brands are being associated with each other.
That's really nice, sir. So, eto na. This is the part wherein we will turn the question to our audience that talks about more of the portfolio balancing. There's a question from Isauro San Pedro. What about mining stocks? What is the prospect this year? Are you also checking on these types of stocks, sir?
Actually, if you look at the mining stocks, some an interesting stock is Semirara. Semirara went down quite a bit last year, but it has recovered so much up to now. And I think it was at around mid-teens, and now it's like over like mid-20s or something. And the dividend yield is still higher than 5%. There, if you check their financials, Semirara's financials has actually exceeded expectations and done so well in the past quarters because I believe copper or their main product has been very strong with the market price in the market and the export market. So actually, last night also in the U.S. markets, gold and silver really went up so much. Gold is actually at I think around 1,750, close to 1,800 per ounce now. So I think long term mining stocks may be very good. Of course, I'm not a an expert or a financial advisor, so these are just my personal opinions.
From Walian 52, what do you suggest would be a good way to minimize opportunity cost when deciding between trading crypto or stocks? Because we believe that, like in the local stocks, we just have roughly 0.25 to 1.5% in terms of commission. And I think cryptocurrency still has yung pag-transfer, the forex, the all those things. How do you decide when it comes to, opportunity cost to
Um,
minimize it?
when you're asking about opportunity cost, I my understanding of opportunity cost is like what you could have made, or if you came in, or uh,
Gains.
you lost potentially because of not coming in. So, looking at hindsight, of course, like even myself,
Everyone.
sometimes I think like crypto, we could have just put in any crypto and made at least, I don't know, at least 100%. You could just go in when it's low, and then, when it goes up a bit, or sell. But you really have to understand yourself also, because a lot of people in crypto also got burned. So people who came in at the high, or people who came in low, but when it went up, they were too greedy. They didn't want to sell. And then once it comes sliding down, panic, sell at a loss. So this is also tied to your own, personal behavioral responses. But if you're going to look at minimizing opportunity cost, I would say first look at your capital. Um, a lot Decide how much you're willing to put into speculative investments. Decide what portion you can't really lose. So that's where you start, and then once you've allocated that, then you can decide already, okay, maybe I'll put this more in the index, or in some blue chip stocks, in some blue chips which pay dividends, and these speculative fund, I will watch the selected crypto, and maybe when there's an opportunity, when things go down, I will accumulate a bit. um, Again, it's understanding your risk profiles, because your risk profile is connected with your opportunity cost.
And so, in terms of risk and opportunity cost, what do you think is the riskiest stock that you've ever invested into, and which it paid off, the risk that you put in there. I mean, when you took the risk, it paid off.
Yeah. Actually, I never put into any risky stocks. Personally, in the Philippines, I just buy some blue chips. I'm a very risk averse person kasi. So maybe the riskiest investment I did was maybe just give some money to my friends and then they'll play it in the casino. But when it comes to stocks, I'm very risk averse. I want to make sure that I kind of follow Warren Buffett's style. He says rule number one, don't lose money. Rule number two, don't forget rule number
Rule
one.
number one.
Uh, yeah, so I'm a bit boring like that.
In terms of the story between the turtle and the rabbit. So si Sir Justin is the turtle, as they say, and it's something that which requires patience. So si may mga questions, witty questions. Okay, from Bernie kaibigan. Lost money sa crypto. Ah, that's sad to hear. Depends on the risk tolerance talaga. So that's why it's really, if it's really risky, put the money that you can lose. So it's something that, we're not saying not to try it. It's also good if you have, especially if you're young. From Aaron Ranke, for students, which would you prefer to recommend between stocks and crypto? Ayan. So as a student, yan Sir Justin, since
Yeah,
bata pa sila, what do you think?
I would recommend that you learn about and experiment with both. So you'll never learn until you get into it yourself, and you might lose a little bit of money in both, or you might also make money. But uh, the difference between just watching and paper trading compared to real trading is really huge. And for stocks, I recommend that, of course, you also learn about basic financial analysis, learning about the companies, learning about what makes the company profitable, their earnings per share, their sales, what is the P, fundamental and relative valuation methods, PE ratio, EBITDA, uh, you know, how do you calculate this market cap, or these kinds of things. They're very important, and you can compare companies, compare different stocks, compare different valuation metrics, and of course read about research reports. So you can see how professionals value companies when they recommend things. Where is it coming from? And of course, also learn a bit about technical analysis, as this is also quite important, especially in crypto. Yeah.
Yan. So ayan. So sir, Aaron, just make sure that you know what you're putting your money into. Sabi nga ni Sir Justin, so you won't be caught up with wrong investment. May nagsabi, sir, gusto ni Welen, gusto ko Angel's Breath. I just realized there are a lot of...
I'll reserve that name for something maybe later.
Oh! Ano kaya yon? Yeah. Alam mo sir, nung nag-iisip kami na your company will be listed, I was thinking your stock code might be Angel or might be Kape, because like it's the first coffee product, 'di ba, that will be listed in the market. So parang hindi kaya Kape. So for the longest time when we were talking about your brand, like yung kape na stock. Like we have this in our head when we don't know yet the stock code. That's and I think I even asked, pwede bang mag-suggest ng brand ng stock code Angel or Kape? And then we were thinking all of this kasi sir, 'di ba, marketing, so you have all of this, stuff that creatively, like if it's Angel, then the listing date will be December 24, mga ganon. Like it's something that you can play around with your brand. Ayan. So from sino bang may questions dito? And from iMac TV, is it okay to average down to lower your investment price in a specific stock? So, sir, do you believe in averaging down or cost
Yes. So this
averaging?
is actually formally this is called cost averaging, right? So in the US, it's called dollar cost averaging. In the Philippines, peso cost averaging. I think this is a good strategy, especially if you're a long-term investor. So if you're coming into a stock which you believe will do quite well, the company will do quite well in the long term, you believe that you're getting it at a value price with a lower margin lower downside margin, and because you can never catch the bottom of a stock. So sometimes it might be good if you've always been eyeing a certain company. You say, okay, I want to get it at X price. I'll get a little. And then if it goes down later, like a month later, I'll get a little more. I'll get a little more. So I've also personally done this with actually good results over the long term, and I'm still doing this actually with some stocks that I like right now. So I think it's a good strategy, especially if you're a long term investor. Yeah.
I agree, sir. There is another question. I know that you are a risk averse, but someone is asking if ever you're consider investing in crypto. According to Yang, what crypto is most appealing to you and why?
Uh, I guess similar to my being risk averse. If I were to get into crypto, I would probably, just hypothetically, I would probably create a crypto fund for myself, and then I would put maybe half or more majority of it into maybe Ethereum and Bitcoin, which are the bigger cryptos, and then maybe half of it or less than half I would then get into more of the more lower priced speculative ones. So within my crypto fund, I would still kind of be diversified. Yeah.
Yan. So yan Yang. That's Ethereum and Bitcoin. From um I wouldn't choose the political questions, baka may mag-away dito. All right. So, sir, do you consider yourself techie in terms of, you're into investing? Do you Are you the type that checks on the latest gadget? You're very particular in terms of info security in your own personal, way of having all of these types of investment. How do you deal with, are you a tech savvy? Do you consider yourself tech savvy?
I think I'm tech savvy enough, but I'm not super advanced. Like for example, NFTs. I haven't gotten into NFTs yet, but it's actually a very hot space now in the crypto market. But I have a good understanding on basically all the tech trends. So even if I don't exactly, I'm not a programmer, I'm not a developer, I think it's good for everyone to have an understanding on the latest of what's going on in the tech space, and of course the tokens digitalization, because that's really where it's going.
That's right.
Yeah.
Sir, another question for you, Johnny Margalisao. What is your significant experience in investment trading? What trading tools that mostly work for you?
My experience in trading really is mostly, from working in the boutique investment bank in the US for a while, working in the stock brokerage here in the Philippines for a while, and also personally trading and investing my own funds in the Philippine market. I also dabbled in some US markets, derivatives, commodity futures, so stock options and also commodity futures, forex also. So I wouldn't say I'm an expert in any of these, but I've learned a lot. Trading tools that mostly work. Um, Actually, I'm not a very technical analysis person, so I don't really have much experience in technical analysis tools, but I was lucky to be able to access Bloomberg before, the Bloomberg terminal, which the professional traders use. So that one has a lot of information. Um, I think these are important because when you're researching on companies, uh, it takes a long time if you're gonna personally look through the financials. And if you have tools which can give you summarized reports, summarized financial, summarized valuation and ratios, these can be very helpful. And there's so many online. Personally, I just use marketwatch.com. It's free, and it has the financials there, the ratios. So yeah.
All right. So, sir, last but not the least, for those who are not yet touching other assets such as cryptocurrencies and also is on the crossroads of choosing between stocks or crypto or both, what is the final message that you want to give to our retail clients and also those who are watching us that have not yet tried investing on both?
I think my main advice really would be is to first look at um, your 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 funds. Ask yourself, if how much am I willing to lose? Because you always have to look at things on a worst case scenario basis. The market since 2018 and 2020 have gone up so high. The question is, if there is another downward cycle, if things go bad, how much are you okay to hold on for long term if the market goes down? Uh, because a lot of people just look at always the upside, eh. But the truth is, you could make money, but you could also lose your shirt. So it's important to always have that start with that base. Like, how much can I invest? How much am I comfortable with if things go down, and then take it from there. You assess your risk preference and your investment goals, whether you're a short or long term investor. And it can always be good to talk to an investment professional, an advisor, your broker, because sometimes it's good to see things from a different person's perspective, not only ours. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, sir. I like that when you said a lot of people always just look at the upside. Madaming gano'n. And it's a really good reminder for all of us. And we thank you for your time today, the second time in my with us in my trade. And I hope also we are plugging on January 24, the listing day of FCG or the Figaro Coffee Group. Ayan. Good luck, sir, in listing day. And thank you.
Yeah, thank you
See
so
you
much.
next
Yeah,
time.
see you.
Bye bye. And there you have it. So that's Mr. Justin Liu of the Figaro Group. Ayan, marami tayong naging insights from him in terms of, I didn't know that he is a risk averse investor. And it's good that, you can have these types of speakers and sharers in the market. And it's not only that, it's a matter of getting to know din. Parang may pagka-touch base na rin to because we got to know the how the risk appetite of the decision makers of the FCG group. Ayan. So or the Figaro Coffee Group. Ayan. So ngayon we'll have our first raffle before we proceed to the next part of our talk. Ayan. So here you go. We will see. Ayan. Spin. Nagsispin na ba? The entries of this is from stop. yung mga nag-register from the... Yan. May basta. Ayan. Okay, congratulations, Judy Grace Hustado. Or we will be sending you an email where to ask to for you to receive 1,000 GC of Figaro GC, and also the travel calendar from my trade. Ito yung sinasabi ko sa inyo that I would really like to have. Ayan, congratulations, Judy Grace Hustado. Ayan, papakita ko lang sa inyo yung travel calendar. Ayan, so there are a lot of, sceneries. Kanina pinag-usapan natin what do you like, flight or ano. Ayan, you will have more of this later on. This has our tagline, Better Tomorrow, and each month you will see different places. So we are featuring different places, and this is a matter of knowing, having an inspiration of your goal when you're investing, you're trading, where to go next. Ayan. So, ayan, may mga nagmamay na. So, later, if you registered in SimpleTix, our ticketing third party, you'll be able to be part of that raffle later on. Okay? Ang ganda niyan. So, sabi ko nga sa inyo, I don't normally use flip calendar, but this one is really nice. Ayan. So, ang ganda, di ba? So, if you want to join later, ayan, mapapalakpak yung tenga ng graphic artist na nag-design na to. Kasi, nang dami nagmamine. Ayan. So, next is, so now we will move on. Isa pa ba? Isa pa. Okay, isa pang raffle. Another winner. Let's see. I hope you're watching, Judy Grace Hustado. If you're here, say that you are the winner. The next winner receiving another GC John Anthony Sayon. Yay! Ayan. Tutuwa ba kayo? Meron na tayong clapper. And so, congratulations. Just PM us and let us know if you're watching us. You send us where to send your GC and your travel calendar. Okay, now we are going to move on to the second talk, or the second speaker for today, that will talk about the Mac review. Let's welcome Sir Lawrence. This is our speaker.
Lawrence Gonzaga is the first chartered market technician in the Philippines and the first technical analyst of Abacus Securities. He has 27 years of experience in this field. In 2008, he anticipated the single biggest one-day drop in the Philippine stock market and warned our clients of the potential panic. He publishes the Abacus Super Timer every Friday.
All right, let me welcome on screen. Hi, Sir Lawrence.
Hi.
Good afternoon. So, Sir Lawrence, bago ka mag-start ng yung talk, what will you choose between long flight, long drive, or couch for life?
I'll choose long drive, but I
Oh.
prefer not to be the one driving. I'll just be the passenger.
Just sitting. Any particular place you want to have that long drive? Going where?
Sabi nila maganda daw sa Australia or New Zealand, so probably that would be an ideal destination after the pandemic.
That's terrific. Sige, sir, I'll leave the floor to you and we'll go back for the Q&A.
Yeah, that was an insightful talk by my fellow Lasallian, Chairman Justin Liu. Everyone's raving about Angel's Pizza nowadays, and I'm sure many investors will be looking forward to a hot debut for Figaro Group next week. I will present the technical outlook for 2022. Basically, there are two key levels to watch. As you can see on the chart, from 2016, we can draw a blue trend line from 2016 all the way to present. That support line has been providing a floor for the market until it broke in March 2020. That was during the height of the pandemic. And what we are seeing right now is just a return move back to that important broken trend line. So the key takeaway here is the 7,700 level is an important level to watch. If we can break 7,700 level and stay above 77, then the market would be able to continue to rally higher. If not, that will most likely mark the top for the market. And instead, if the market breaks 6.9 on the way down, then it will open the floor for further downside. Next slide. We call this the bull-bear barrier. In technical analysis, we have this concept called support and resistance. And once a support level is broken, that level will become a resistance. The psychology is simple because people will be trying to get out at a slight loss or break even. So that will create a lot of natural resistance for the market. In the case of the Philippine Composite Index, that level is at 7,700. But so far, we can see that the moving average lines is still positive. We have the positive crossover of the 10-week above the 40-week moving average line. So as of now, the market's still quite okay, except we should be mindful of the resistance at 7,700. Next slide. Okay. Next slide, please. Then we go to some of the charts that Nicky will cover later. BDO, there's a long-term trendline resistance at 155. So if you are buying BDO, the upside that we are looking at is around 155 on the chart. That's where the long-term resistance line is. Next. Then for ICTSI, there's this strong rally, and we have an uptrend line to support this rally. But as you can see, the current price is a little bit extended from the trend line. So this level is quite elevated. For those who are looking to buy, we would prefer to come in if the price pulls back closer to the support line. Next. Next slide. Next, we have GT Capital. GT Cap is just in a trading range. We have a solid support near 500, 495, but there's a major resistance at 673.50. So for GT Cap to rally higher, it has to break 673. But if it goes down to around 500, near 500, that would be an interesting level to come in. Next. Next, we have Pure Gold. I know that a lot of people are saying Pure Gold is currently quite cheap right now, but looking at the chart, there's still no upside reversal yet. We see support at 35.30, but if it breaks, then we'll be looking at 31.20. But for now, we'll be looking at 35.30 as the support. On the other hand, resistance would be at 45. Next. Next slide. Home. Okay. Home for home, we see good support near 8 pesos, but resistance near 10 pesos and another one at 11. So this is also another chart in the trading range. It might be good to pick up near the support level of 8. Next. Okay, for IMI, we saw that there was a minor breakout at 928. That could potentially signal the start of a recovery. Uh, we see strong resistance at 1172 and 15 pesos. Okay, next. Then for DNL, there's a resistance at 10 while support is at 815. So those who are looking to buy may look to buy near 815 with an eye towards 10 pesos as an exit. Next. So in a nutshell, the index is currently below a major resistance line. So that level is at 7,700. If we can go above 7,700, then the outlook would become positive. But if not, our stance would still be to sell into rallies. And for support, there's a key support at around 6,900. As long as the market does not break 6.9, the rally should remain intact. But if it breaks 6,900, then that would potentially signal further losses for the market. We also note that there's a 200-day moving average line at around 6,861. So that's also a good support level. Then some people are asking me for my view regarding the peso. The peso recently broke out at 51.04. So the peso would likely to continue to lose value with this breakout. The next level to watch is 51.85. But what's stopping the peso from eventually going to 53 or 54? The important thing is the likely direction right now is for peso to weaken. Next. Yesterday, while I was making this presentation, I saw this quote from Howard Marks. I am worried about inflation. Inflation is excessive. Higher inflation means higher interest rates. Higher interest rate, higher interest means lower asset prices. So this is from Howard Marks, a very respected investor. So if you are formulating your trading plan for this year, it would be good also to keep his perspective in mind. That's all from my end.
Thank you, sir. That's very insightful and brief. We will have the Q&A with you and Sir Nicky later, together with him. All right. See you later, sir. All right. And last but not least, the final speaker, the main speaker for today. Let me introduce our very own to you.
Raymond Neal Nicky Franco is a certified public accountant and was among the first few chartered financial analysts in the country, receiving the designation in year 2000. He is the only Filipino recognized by Forbes magazine as one of Asia's top 10 best stock pickers, ranking at top 5. He is the head of research of Abacus Securities and the director of its online trading arm, MyTrade.
Eto na, sabi nga ng isang Facebook user, the goat of my train. Lagot ako dito sa pangahype ko sa kanya. But we are just glad that he will be with us today. And let me uh, give you the floor. I'll be calling in Sir Nicky. Hello.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon.
Oh, sir, because I asked Sir Lawrence, I'm gonna ask you also. Among the three, sana hindi yung pangatlo. Couch potato, long, is it long drive or long flight? Anong pipiliin mo?
Couch potato.
Sabi na eh. Bakit ba nahulaan ko yan? Alright, sir. So here, I'll give you the floor and later on, I think ito na yung pinakahihintay ng mga tao. And mind you guys, please take note. There will be a twist towards the end of his presentation. Take it.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon again. Thank you for taking the time to listen to our outlook for 2022. The title, as you see there, is Crossroads, Navigating Change in 2022. The title is Crossroads because, as we all know, the nation itself is at a crossroads with the May elections coming up in May 9 to be exact. So with this in mind, we remember that politics is business and business is politics. They both affect each other. So it's going to be a very important event for the country and even for the stock market in general. So let's start with the next slide, which is basically a look back, which is basically looking back at what happened last year or what happened to our stock picks last year. For those of you who were able to watch last year's presentation, you will remember that these are the 12 stocks that we recommended at the start of last year. Actually, most of them, 7 out of the 12, were in negative territory last year, or they lost ground actually last year. But because of the very strong performances of CNPF and ICT, the weighted average return of these 12 stocks actually beat the index by 1,240 basis points or 12.4 percentage points. Meanwhile, the market was generally weaker than what we expected because of earnings, which did not meet expectations. Vaccination was actually faster than what we anticipated, but still well below the average for our ASEAN peers. On the other hand, foreign selling also accelerated. And because of these factors and others that we will discuss later, the target of 10,000 for the physics for sometime middle of next year is no longer in play. Next slide. On this slide, I just want to show the parabolic nature of the number of cases for new COVID cases for the Philippines. As we all know, this variant is more transmissible, but it is also apparently less severe, which makes us quite hopeful that this new wave will be quick in going up in terms of number of cases, but we're also very hopeful that the peak will be coming anytime soon. We're expecting that we're actually expecting that we should see tapering off of the number of cases by the end of this month, if not sooner. Unfortunately, we don't have the enough testing capacity. We don't really know the exact picture. So these numbers are should be taken with a grain of salt. Despite the fact that Omicron is less severe or apparently less severe it can still disrupt business a lot, especially supply chains. Um, China, for example, is still adhering very strictly to its zero COVID policy, which means that if even if only a few cases are found, they will shut down that area for some time. And unfortunately, they've been seeing cases in a lot of their port areas, especially the large ones. And this is going to affect supply chains around the world. And this might affect companies also operating in the Philippines. Next slide. Just a few slides on the economy. First on GDP. We're expecting a strong first half this year, basically because of a low base from 2021. We expect growth to normalize in the second half of this year, and we are projecting that full year GDP will be between 6 to 7%. There should be a slight lift from election related spending, but then there's going to also going to be a drag from the Mandanas ruling. If you haven't heard of the Mandanas ruling, this basically gives a larger share of internal tax revenues to local government units. And what foreign agencies say, and even some analysts locally say, is that a lot of the LGUs don't have the absorptive capacity for the increase in their internal revenue allotment. So they might not be able to spend the increase in allotment that they get, or they will spend it, but it will not be very efficient. So this is going to negatively affect GDP growth moving forward. Meanwhile, I think it was Fitch Solutions who said that there is minimal fiscal space, and this is going to negatively affect the government's ability to boost growth if needed this year. Next, please. For the consumer sector, what we would like to say is that it's the consumer is going to lead the economic recovery. Consumer spending is going to increase significantly in our view because of several drivers. First is elections, of course, and then we expect greater mobility after this fourth wave of cases is over. The chart there, meanwhile, shows that the peso value of remittances grew 9.8% in November of last year. And this is the highest since at least the start of 2020. And in the past 4 months, the average growth in the peso value of remittances is more than 8%. Again, this is the highest 4-month streak in some time. So this is going to indeed help consumer spending moving forward. And of course, slowing inflation. Another major boost in consumer spending might happen if minimum wages are hiked all over the country. Minimum wage hike is long overdue in all of the regional wage boards. For example, in Metro Manila, the last minimum wage hike was in October 2018. So that's more than 3 years already, and minimum wage earners are suffering. And with the economy gaining traction already, it's probable in our view that a minimum wage hike or significant minimum wage hike will be approved sometime later this year, probably after the elections. We also say that consumer spending will lead the recovery because revenge spending was really apparent during the holidays. We don't have specific numbers right now, but I think everyone saw that malls were teeming with people during the holidays. And the revenge spending has been cut short by this Omicron wave, but we believe that once this is over, revenge spending will accelerate into 2022. Next slide, please. So I was talking earlier, inflation is falling and it has come back down to the BSP's target range. Base effects are likely to keep inflation benign throughout 2022. There might be a brief uptick due to election-related spending, and another one if minimum wages are indeed increased this year. But overall, we believe, we agree with the BSP that inflation should remain well within the 2 to 4% target range that has been set by the Banco Central. Next slide, please. Now, with regard to interest rates, despite the fact that inflation has been coming down, move back a slide, please. There, thank you. So I was saying, despite the fact that inflation has been coming down, we believe that the BSP is still likely to hike rates later this year, probably by the middle of this year. This is due to several factors, which I will discuss later. Yields across the belly of the curve have actually increased 175 to 205 basis points in the past year. So the market seems to be pricing interest rate hikes already ahead of any announcement. This is partly due to the fact that yields in the US have been increasing, and also partly due to the fact that the economy is gaining traction. But for us, the main point that we would like to impart is that the BSP is likely to hike rates later this year. And for us, the trigger is not inflation. The trigger is not really going to be the Fed lifting off either in March or in May. But we believe that the BSP will finally move to normalize monetary policy when lending growth increases to around double digits. In November, it was about 4.2%, 4.3%. We believe, or 4.5%, sorry. In December, we believe that this will be higher, will be above 5%. And by the middle of this year, we think that industry loan growth for the banking sector will be at double digits. As Lawrence noted earlier, higher interest rates is negative for asset prices. No? So this will be a headwind for equity prices, except for banks, because this will be positive for the net interest margins of banks. Next slide, please. Now, for earnings, what we like to point out is that there's going to be strong EPS growth for the market this year. However, Bloomberg consensus shows that only 17 out of 28 PSEI companies will reach or exceed 2019 recurring profit levels. The 11 out of 28 will still be below pre-pandemic levels in terms of profitability. We only included 28 because San Miguel doesn't have consensus earnings. And then we also excluded AC Energy because AC Energy was still basically a different company back in 2019. So the AC Energy of 2019 and the AC Energy of today are not comparable. So only 17 out of 28 PSEI companies will reach pre-pandemic profitability by this year. So this basically means that Philippine companies are being left behind by by regional and emerging market peers. Meanwhile, we believe that election uncertainty may delay investment decisions for a number of companies, and this may impact um, and this may the impact of this may flow into 2023 and beyond. Next slide, please. On foreign money, we've pointed this out before. There has been more than $7.5 billion worth of equity outflow since mid 2015, of which $5.2 billion has been since May 2019 alone. So you can see in the chart there that foreign selling has really accelerated towards the right hand portion of that chart. Meanwhile, you can ignore the spike in inflows in net foreign buying at the very end of that chart, because that foreign buying only pertains to one company when the foreign company bought into Aboitiz Power. So basically, Aboitiz Equity Ventures sold down a portion of its stake in Aboitiz Power. So you can ignore that because that inflow went into just one company. It doesn't really affect the market as a whole. Meanwhile, potential outflows remain substantial. We have started to tabulate the foreign free float of the major companies now, and what we can say is that the potential outflows remain quite substantial. So in our view, elections may determine if or when foreign investors will come back to the Philippines. Next slide. Let's spend a few slides on valuations. Again, as mentioned earlier, interest rates are on the rise, and this is going to be negative for equities. You can see in the chart there that the earnings yield of the PSEI is still above the 10-year yield, but the gap between the two has narrowed. So what this means is that equities have become less attractive in relation to fixed income. Meanwhile, we said in a recent report that the PSEI is top heavy. Only a few very large stocks account for 50% of the index. So what this means is that despite the fact that the market is trading at about 16, 17 times, there are, and that's not cheap now. 16 to 17 times is not cheap in our view. However, opportunities abound in smaller and cheaper stocks, and we will concentrate on that later. Next one, please. Now, I said in a tweet that this is one of the most important charts that we would like to discuss. The dark green line in that chart represents the forward PE of the PSEI, and as you can see, it is falling within that yellow channel that we drew there. We ignore the spike as denoted in the circle, because that was when there was a lot of exuberance when the train law was passed. So we ignore that because of what we say is relatively irrational exuberance at that time. We also ignore the two outliers denoted by the ovals, the shaded ovals, because these were the times when analysts simply weren't able to catch up quickly enough to falling and then rising stock prices. Falling when COVID struck, and then rising very fast when people were expecting a quick recovery. Unfortunately, that really didn't happen. So as you can see there, the valuation for the market is trending lower, has been trending lower since 2013. And we believe that this is not random. We don't think that it is a pure coincidence or something like that. This is because the valuation of the broader emerging market space actually rose between 2013 and 2019. So during this period, the Philippines was actually an outlier compared to the broader emerging market space. So one has to wonder why the valuations for the Philippines has been coming down, whereas the rest of the emerging markets uh, have actually been experiencing an increase in valuations. For example, India, in 2013-2014, India was trading at about 14 times PE. Today, India is trading at 24 times PE. So, like in terms of earnings, the Philippines is currently being left behind or losing pace with regard to valuations compared to the rest of the emerging market space. Now, what we believe is that this is a structural derating, and that this derating is likely to continue if recent surveys with regard to the May 2022 elections prove accurate. Next slide, please. Now, as I said, this is not random. This derating is not random. And to prove this, we looked at 50 stocks now. 40 of these stocks were at one point or another, at one time or another, index stocks now. The first four columns include 40 stocks that have been in the index since 2013. And then we also included in the last column 10 non-index stocks. As you can see there, all the stocks in the white spaces have seen a downward sloping valuation, and only 3 companies have seen an upward sloping valuation for most of the period between 2013 to 2019. And these are SM Prime, and URC. So 75% of the stocks in the table above show downward sloping valuations. We just to complete the annotation, we ignore the stocks in the gray spaces, because 2 of them have been delisted, and then 4 of them don't have enough trading history. And then lastly, the ones in yellow are showing stable valuation, or they don't have any discernible pattern with regard to their valuation. So again, what we believe that this shows is that this is a broad-based derating that we are seeing. Next slide, please. As I mentioned earlier, SM and SM Prime bucked the trend. They actually show an increasing valuation from 2013 until 2018. But even then, SM and SM Prime have recently begun to show a derating also. But what we would like to say on this slide is that if not for SM and SM Prime, then the derating of the market would have been steeper. And we estimate that had SM and SM Prime traded in line with the market, then the market's forward PE today would probably be closer to 15 times already, instead of what we're seeing as 16.6 times. And then over time, the market's forward PE, we believe, will fall to, or there's a strong probability that it will fall to 14 times over time. For context, 14 times is also the average forward PE for the market from 2005 to 2012. We would have wanted to get data from earlier time period, no, at least from the year to 2000. Um, Unfortunately, there's no such data available from Bloomberg. We will try to get more data, but um, we believe that from 2000 to 2012, the market's average PE was only about 14 times. So there's a strong possibility that we will fall back down to that range. Next slide, please. This table shows the most recent available survey, no, for the elections. Again, the country is at a political crossroads. But more than the political outcome, no, there again economic outcomes. This is going to be negative for public expenditures in the near term, because as we all there is an election ban on new public infrastructure projects during the election period. However, the elections should still be slightly net positive due to election-related private consumption. As we all know, money flows during the elections, and this should boost consumption over the next few months or next two quarters. Now things can still change, but it looks to be shaping up to become a two-person race. A two-person race. Next slide, please. Now we looked at a few countries now that whose president or prime minister have been described as strong men. We all know what strong man means, no? But as you can see in that chart, Russia, of course, President Putin, Turkey, Erdogan, Brazil, Bolsonaro, Hungary's Orban, and then we all know, of course, China. The average PE of these countries is 7.7 times, while the emerging markets average PE is 12.9 times, and that's equivalent to a 40% discount. So we believe that Nomura is correct that the vice president will be more business friendly. And we believe that other foreign houses are likely to echo the same sentiment. Meanwhile, we also looked at a case when South Korea elected the daughter of former President Park. The Kospi went sideways for 4 years. Now, of course, this is just one instance, and this doesn't preclude a different outcome. But this is what I believe. This is something that investors should keep in mind. Next slide, please. Now we go on now to our different sector outlooks. We start with the banks. We are overweight on the banks. Most metrics are moving in the right direction. You don't see it in that chart, no. Net interest margin has been falling for some time. However, with interest rates rising, we believe that net interest margins will eventually move back up. Again, most metrics are moving in the right direction. NPLs are falling. Loan growth is improving. And we don't think that loan demand is going to be hurt significantly even in a rising interest rate environment, unless of course if interest rates move up too high and too fast. So our top picks for this industry are BDO and Metro Bank. Next slide, please. On energy, we are overweight, primarily because we believe it's a defensive sector. Whatever happens to the country after the elections, energy is going to be needed for the economy. Demand has or is expected to return to pre-pandemic levels already. However, there is a need to be choosy in this sector, and we believe that the key factor that investors should consider is the transition to renewable energy. As you can see in the chart there, the DOE is targeting a share of 35% for renewable energy by the year 2030. And this is going to require a lot of investment in renewable energy, and the most of the renewable energy projects that we're seeing are of course solar. We're seeing some wind, some hydro, but I guess uh, solar is easier to to build out and to accomplish for these companies. Now, of course, our top picks, as we all know, as you probably all know, is SPNEC, and then we also like FGen because of valuations. Next slide, please. Property. We are underweight on the sector. We remain underweight on the sector. And if you look around, if you have a chance to look at the market outlooks of other houses, you'll probably see that we're the only house, or you might be the only house that's underweight on property. And this is because we expect the full recovery to be pushed back to 2023 and or even 2024. It's a popular reopening theme. It's a popular reopening play, but our view is that again, full recovery won't be for another year or two, and primarily this is because of the fact that office vacancy rates are continuing to increase, and at least one or two property consulting companies is projecting that vacancy rates will continue to increase this year, despite the growth in the economy. And this is because, of course, POGOs are out, and BPOs, while they are expanding, won't be able to absorb all of the supply that will be completed this year. We also want to say that it appears that work from home is here to stay. BPOs in particular, they were not ready when the pandemic struck. They had a hard time adjusting when the pandemic struck. However, after a year or even less, they found that they could adjust. They have been able to adjust, and they have seen that employees are happier working from home. It seems that retention rates are higher because employees are able to work from home. They don't have to go out into the traffic. They don't have to spend hours in traffic. So the BPO industry is lobbying to retain the work from home arrangement as much as possible. And if this is the case, then definitely there will be significantly less demand, overall demand for office space moving forward. Now, in terms of segment recovery, we believe that commercial will recover faster than residential, and then residential will recover faster than office. And because of this, because of our view that commercial spaces will recover faster, our topic is RLC. SM Prime is also going to recover faster than the rest, but because of the valuation, the huge gap in valuations between the two, then we prefer Robinson's Land. Next slide, please. Telecoms were neutral. What we would like to say here is that the key theme for us is that when Omicron fades, then there's going to be a lot more mobility over the next few quarters. And this will increase demand for mobile data. And you can see there in the chart that Globe has a wide lead over PLDT in terms of mobile data as a percentage of total service revenues. So when people start to go out more, they'll use their mobile data more, and this will lead down to faster growth, at least in our view, for Globe. PLDT saying that home broadband is also going to be strong. But we believe that home broadband growth is going to taper off because, again, people are going to be going out more. Hopefully, things will be start to normalize by the latter half of this year. So we prefer Globe for the sector, and this is also because fintech has seen an increase in the contribution to the fair value of the telcos, and by far, GCash also has a wide lead over PayMaya. I think the numbers show that the gross transaction value on Globe's GCash platform was more than 3 trillion pesos last year, as compared to something like 1 point something trillion pesos for PayMaya. We don't have much color in terms of the composition of that gross transaction value, either for GCash or PayMaya. I think those are basically trade secrets that they will not divulge. But the huge gap in our view is telling now, and this will increase further the value of GCash or Mint. We believe that future capital raises for GCash will further increase the value of Mint to for Globe. Next, please. On conglomerates, we're underweight simply because a lot of them are expensive relative to the market as a whole. Most of the mega cap conglomerates like SM, AC, JDS, and AEV are expensive in our view. So we prefer the smaller, cheaper holding companies, and we believe that the ones that are more exposed to the consumer sector will fare better. And this is why we like GT Cap. We believe that Toyota will perform much better this year, and this will flow into the results of GT Cap. And we also like MPI. It's not at all consumer focused, but the company is very cheap, and the toll roads business might do an IPO as soon as this year. So that should unlock a lot of the value for the toll roads business for MPI. Next one, please. On consumer retail, we're overweight. Like energy, we believe that this is unlikely to be affected by political headwinds. A lot of these companies basically selling staples now, and we believe that they will benefit more from the rebound in household spending as compared to consumer food. Our topics are pure gold and home. Next one, please. Consumer food and beverage were neutral. These companies are also going to benefit significantly from the rebound in consumer spending. However, the impact on the bottom line will be significantly diluted because of a lot of margin pressure, especially for the food manufacturers and the restaurant chains. You can see in the chart there, for example, that palm oil is up 76% from the start of 2021. And as we've mentioned before, palm oil is used basically in most of the products of URC and Monde. So this will definitely continue to impact margins of these companies. We saw third quarter numbers for both, and we saw the margin contractions for the two of them. In particular, URC, the operating margin of URC was at a 10-year low, at least a 10-year low, based on what we can see from Bloomberg. And we believe that it will hold at that level or even go down further because of the spike in palm oil and the higher prices of other commodities. There is a brighter outlook, however, for liquor makers or distributors. They shouldn't be affected as much by high commodity prices. They're being affected by logistical issues, yes, but not to the extent that they will see a significant margin pressure like the manufacturers and restaurant chains. So our topics for this group is DNL and Keeper. We like DNL in particular because it can pass on the higher commodity prices. The contracts that they have give them the ability to pass on higher commodity prices to their clients. We also like the company because as they disclosed a few months back, the value of their exports is already higher compared to the value of their imported raw materials. So that means basically that DNL has a natural hedge against a weaker peso. And we agree with what Lauren said earlier that the peso will continue to depreciate. So DNL should fare better because of this. Now, they're hedged against a weaker peso. And this is something that we cannot say the same for URC, Monde, and the restaurant chains. They will be negatively affected also by a weaker peso. Next slide, please. So just to summarize everything, the balance of risks is tilted to the downside, in particular because of the derating that we are seeing and the elections. And we prefer to be defensive. Other negatives include U.S. monetary policy tightening, which could be faster than what a lot of people are expecting. However, we believe that the economic recovery, improved consumer spending, and abundant liquidity will prevent a sharp fall for the index. Companies and foreign investors will also be on wait and see mode until at least mid-May, and maybe until the latter half of this year. The structural derating that we talked about may accelerate if again current election surveys prove true. So our year-end physics target is between 7,700 to 7,900. Next slide, please. So for our key recommendations, the fact that the balance of risks is to the downside, our view is that clients should remain invested. They should build up cash on rallies to take advantage of opportunities that may come up later this year. Investors should manage risk by sticking to defensive stocks or sectors and value plays. I think we've identified stocks that shouldn't be affected too much by politics or will be resilient broadly rating. We are overweight on banks, consumer retail, and energy, and we are underweight on conglomerates and property. Our top trades are, as you can see there, switching from AC Energy to SPNEC, Wilcon to Home, BPI to BDO, Ali to SM Prime, and then JGS and AE to GCAP. We've already said that Monde and Emperador are likely to join the index. And then in they will replace RRHI and Bloom. So stock up on Monde and EMP, but then we would be a trading cell once they join the index. And then we would also be a trading buy on RRHI and Bloom if they are or after they are dated. Our topics for this year, there are 10: BDO, ICT, GT Cap, RLC, DNL, Pure Gold, IMI, SPNEC, Home, and Keeper. That's it for my part. Let's now open the floor to question to the Q&A. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We will now call Sir Lawrence and Sir Nicky on screen. Okay. All right. So, first question. Habang namimili tayo, sir. There will be a talk upcoming on January 30, PSE Expo. Mamaya, I will give you the details. This is gonna be a continuation of what Sir Nicky has talked about today. So someone is asking if it's the same talk, but it's not. There's gonna be an added flavor and the talk that he will be presenting. Right, Sir Nicky?
Yeah. I'll be repeating some of the insights that we've shared today, but like Sheena said, there will be other points that I would make that would hopefully help the investing public. This being a PSE forum, I think it's a good opportunity to bring up certain topics for discussion.
Okay. So, question Manoy's Finest. Good day, Idol. Which one do you think would be priced in by PH Market first national elections or rising inflation?
Well, actually, inflation has been tapering off now. So for me, it will be the elections. So we'll have to keep an eye on the surveys. Of course, we'll all find out eventually on May 9. But I think we'll see things getting priced in even before the elections.
All right. So, Manoy's Finest, thank you for your question. Next is Lou Marquez on upcoming REITs for 2022. An outlook for the upcoming REITs for 2022.
We've only been able to look at the City Core REIT. It really depends. It still really depends on the final offer price. But so far, we like what we see, and there's good possibility actually that we would recommend it. But again, it really depends on the final offer price. So just stay tuned on that one. In the meantime, we wrote about it today. If you missed it, you can check. You can check out our short takes for today.
Okay. So, some technical questions siguro for the next question. Yan. All right. Insight for Dito. I think this is a technical view.
Okay. For dito, no? Dito is currently in a trading range. There's good support near 5, but there's strong resistance near 6. So that will be the range for now.
Strong resistance. So, between 5 and 6.
Yes.
Okay. Sir, how about for a fundamental view? How do we look at Dito?
Sorry.
Sir, for Dito, do you have any insight, fundamental insight? on Dito?
Um, I think they've actually been doing better than a lot of people have been expecting. From the get go, I think there was a lot of doubt that they would that they would be even able to start commercial operations. They've proven that wrong already. They have 5.3 million, or they had 5.3 million subscribers as of the end of last year, and then they're targeting to double that at least by the end of this year. So um, it seems that they are gaining traction slowly, but it's still going to be a long haul when it comes to achieving profitability. If you recall, Digital or Sun Cellular way back, it basically faced the same hurdles as Dito, facing off with entrenched market leaders. But eventually, Sun became profitable, and JGS was even able to sell digital to PLDT at a huge profit. So we wouldn't dismiss outright Ditto. We're keeping an eye on Ditto. We don't have a recommendation on this at this point, but it's something that we would continue to look at. There might be potential there, but it really depends on their. Still depends a lot on their execution over the next 1 to 2 years.
All right. So next question from Sibayaw. Hi, Sir Nicky and Lawrence. Sir Lawrence, historical trends through the years regarding how the PSE performs post presidential elections.
If I recall correctly, usually the consumer stocks are the ones moving before, but I'm not sure how that would be the same nowadays because of the COVID situation, as well as the shift from uh, traditional campaigning to social media campaigning. So I think this time there would not be a repeat exactly of what we've seen in the past. Yan.
On my end, we showed before that the general trend is that the market performs um, well in the period leading up to and even after the election, but the performances vary widely depending on the election. So um, it might happen also this time, but there are other significant considerations. As I said earlier, the earnings recovery of the Philippines is lagging compared to ASEAN and other emerging market countries. The vaccination rate is also lagging compared to our neighbors. So the impact of the elections might be diluted compared to the past.
There was a follow-up question in Dito actually, sir. How long will it take for Dito to be profitable? Is it 3 years down the road or more?
What the company said was that it might take 4 to 5 years. So counting from the start of commercial operations last year, then that could be 2025 or as late as 2026. Um, but things are fluid. Their subscriber numbers are relatively strong. We'll just have to see how far they can reach, maybe until the end of next year, and we'll be able to gauge much. We'll be able to gauge the company much better. Hopefully by next year.
Next is from Leslie Marcelo. Insights for LTG. Steady dividends pa din po kaya?
Yes, that's what we believe. The There has been a steady decline in consumption of cigarettes. There has also been steady increases in the excise taxes for tobacco, and yet um, the company, or actually Philip Morris Fortune Tobacco Corporation, continues to improve on earnings year after year. So the price increases that the company has been implementing year after year appears to be offsetting these negative factors, and we believe that this will continue for the next 1 to 2 years at least. So the strong dividends that we have seen since 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021. The dividends have continued to increase over the past few years, and we believe that this will continue this year, especially since the other units of LTG should also recover this year. The liquor and the property and the other businesses that LTG has.
Any technical views, Sir Lawrence, for LTG?
Well, for LTG, I think there's minimal downside, although the stock is currently sideways. It has to break 1016 before we'll see probably a stronger uptrend. So there's one resistance at 1016. If we break that, then probably we'll see 1050. But until then, it will just continue to meander around.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Next question from Moses. Sir Nicky, what's your view on BDO potentially being hit with a fine or ETC in the light of the Mark Nagoya incident, despite that still a top pick for PSC stocks?
Um, there's that possibility, of course. Other banks that saw a breach were fined by the BSP. However, from what I know, um, it's something that wasn't totally within the control of the bank. I mean, there were breaches in other areas that allowed it to happen, specifically on the telco side, no. So not all of the blame can be put on BDO. So I don't think the fine will be significant enough to affect our recommendation on the company, on the bank.
All right. Next is Keeper Technicals, please.
Keeper. Normally, the offer price will be a major resistance. If Keeper currently it's below 150, so 150 would remain a significant resistance. Many people will be trying to get out at a slight loss or at break even. So you have a huge natural resistance at 150. But the way prices are moving right now, I think there's minimal downside. So for clients who would be looking to buy, I think 130 should be a good level. 130, 120 plus. Probably 130 plus. Yeah.
Okay. From Johnny Bulisao, with the Omicron giving uncertainty in the short to medium term, at least, what should investors do now? Should they time the market? Should investors try to hold for the long haul?
Mhm.
Um, it is always preferable um, to go long term. As Justin said earlier, you can never time you can never really time it that you
The
buy
bottom.
at the bottom. No, it's it's basically pure luck if you are indeed able to buy at the bottom. So, but going to the main question on Omicron, as I said earlier, this is a very infectious variant, but um, as shown in other countries, the wave is quite steep, but also quite short. So this is why I said earlier that we expect the number of cases to taper off by the end of this month, if not earlier. So we're already looking past Omicron. If you notice the things that I was saying earlier, we're looking at a post Omicron wave already, post Omicron increase in mobility, um, post Omicron increase in consumer spending. So I think that's the right view to take now. Look through Omicron already and start to look at stocks for the long term.
How about the short-term view for Sir Lawrence in terms of like 1 month, 2 month probably. Just like in South Africa, I think it took them 3 months for this Omicron to surge. So in your technical view, the short-term um, sentiment of the market.
I think the market currently is still okay. We are still probably good for one more rally. Not sure. As long as the 6,900 level holds, then the market should still be healthy enough to make a bounce. But I would be a seller if the market reaches close to 7,700 level. I don't think the market can break 7,700 in a big way. So that's an exit level for me, the 7,700.
All right, for the traders in the house. Next question. All day, please, from Linus Camo. Okay, we'll have the fundamental view first, and then we'll go into
Yeah.
technical.
Um, we we continue to like all day. One of the things that we like about all day, and what we would like to emphasize is that it is the retailer actually together with Home, no, its sister company. That these two companies derive a significant portion of their sales from online channels. Um, and both of these companies are far and above uh, compared to the online sales of their peers. And we believe that this will be a significant differentiating factor for both companies actually. And this is because um, consumers' behavior changed dramatically during the pandemic. A lot more people are buying and selling online. A lot more people are using delivery platforms because simply it makes life so much more easy, for consumers to order online, um, and do so from the comfort of their home. So I believe that this will be again significant factor for all day and home moving forward.
Okay. Sir, why is that it's only home that we put in the topics and did not include all day?
Um, Home because its valuation is significantly below that of Wilcon, and that's why we're recommending a switch from Wilcon to Home. Whereas all day, the payoff is much longer because it's still trading at a premium to its peers, no, Pure Gold and RHI, which is a relatively close peer as well.
Okay.
So
Now, okay, sorry.
so investors basically have to be more patient on
All
all
day.
day. Yeah.
All right. In technical view naman, Sir Lawrence?
All day is also in a trading range. The recent low, 55 cents, 55 centavos, that should be the support, but it has to break 66 for the stock to gain traction. Yan.
Ayan. So, trading range pala. Sorry. Next would be like we have few more minutes for the Q&A, and then we will proceed with another raffle. And from Denise, how much will a SOV downgrade affect PSEI, and how likely will that scenario pan out in your view?
Um, in my view, it's possible, but the probability is relatively low. The the debt to GDP ratio has increased significantly. The um, the budget deficit this year as a percentage of GDP will remain high. However, it is going to start to come down, um, and if growth outperforms, um, especially compared to the past 2 years, then the deficit to GDP ratio might come down much more than we expect. So that should be viewed favorably by the sovereign ratings companies. So again, it's possible, but I wouldn't say it's probable. So for us, we it's not in our base case scenario, um, and I don't think that it should affect investors' perceptions at this point. We will, of course, keep a close eye on the country's debt metrics for any further decline.
Okay. So for those who don't know, SOV is the sovereign credit rating, or what you call the credit rating of a particular country, which is here in the Philippines. So that's the question that Denise was asking. For the last question for today, I know there are a lot of questions still, but we'll need to cut this from Sibayo. SPNEC recent increase in ACS for future share swaps for its sister companies could have a large dilutive impact depending on pricing. What's your outlook on this? And then later on, we'll get the technical view from Sir Lawrence also
Mhm.
regarding SPNet.
Okay, let me connect this with another question that I saw on the comments. No?
Okay.
Um, there was also a question on why we are recommending a switch from AC Energy to SPNEC when SPNEC doesn't even have revenues right now. No? So those two questions kasi are related. Now, if you read between the lines of the previous disclosure, um, I think what we should understand is that uh, the intention is to put in the operating companies of um, of Solar Philippines already into the listed entity. So that should answer the other question. Now, with regard to the recent increase to the planned increase pala, it's still planned increase in authorized capital stock. They have already called for a special stockholders meeting in March to approve this. No, now we don't know the particulars. We don't know the specific details. We will simply have to wait for those. So it's probably premature to say whether it's really going to be dilutive. Uh, it might even be accretive for the company. We don't know at this point because it really depends on the valuation that will be assigned to both SPNEC and to the other companies in the portfolio of the parent company. But that being said, having dealt with the company, um, and knowing that they left a lot of money on the table with regard to the IPO. Um, they priced it at one. Our price target is 196, but there's really a lot of scope for upgrade in our target price now. So that's what I mean when I say na they left a lot of money on the table with regard to the IPO. So I would have to say that I'm confident that the pricing of the share swap will be very fair, and I believe that it will be friendly to the minority shareholders of SPNet.
All right. So for the technical view, Sir Lawrence, and then after this, we will have parting words from Sir Nicky.
Okay, for SPNEC, we were I was able to look at SPNEC. There was one target at 163 and another one at 170. So the target level has essentially been reached already. So um, for those who were looking to buy, probably wait. My advice is probably wait at around 150 or slightly lower, probably 145. That would probably be a good entry point. And
Okay. So those are the for SPNEC. And of course, kahit na napakaganda ng ating usapan today, it will still have to end it. And any words to impart our audience, Sir Nicky, especially for this year 2022?
Um, I'm not very good at parting words, but I would like to say that even even though we see a more challenging view for 2022 compared to our outlook 12 months ago, no, um, there are always opportunities in the market, and we will always be on the lookout for these opportunities so that um, we can guide you, our clients, on what to do and where to invest your money. And hopefully, as in previous years, our stock picks will outperform the market as a whole.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Sir Lawrence, Sir Nicky, for today's topic. I hope you guys have enjoyed and also learned a lot from today. We see you soon. Bye bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. And there you have it. That's our outlook for this 2022. And there will be more to come for the entire year. But, regardless of that, we have given you the perspective of what you can do for this year. And I hope you have learned some insight. But of course, another game time for everyone. And we will have some announcements that you would really want to hear after this. So for the raffle, let me give you another raffle draw for those who have registered. Okay, let's see. Hindi yung mga mananalo ng another GC from Planet of FCG Group and also a calendar. Congratulations, Ferdinand Oliveros, na late yung sound effects. Ferdinand Oliveros. Ferdinand, congratulations. Are you here? Please say a comment kung nagustuhan niyo yung topic today, and all. If you have learned something today, please type in the comments below what are the one-liners that you have learned today, and type thumbs up or 3 if you really like what you have heard today. All right. So is there another one that we need to draw for this before we go on the announcements? Isa pa ba? Okay, one more. Okay, 2 more. All right, so let's draw again for our clients. Sino kaya? Press 3 if you'd like to receive a calendar. All right. Sino kaya? Na-draw ba? Ayan, congratulations! Regine Avena for winning a calendar and GC from FCG Group. Okay, another one, last for the day. Sana all may calendar. 333 for calendar. Stay tuned. Kung gusto nyo manalo ng calendar for the entire course of the first 2 months, we'll give away calendars. So make sure that you stay tuned and subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and follow us on Facebook and on YouTube. All right. Next is Isabel De Losa. Congratulations. So just send us, DM us what address you would like for us to send your calendar, your travel calendar, and also the GC. All right. So that's for the raffle prizes. Now let's move on to the announcements. All right. And tapos na yung game time. But some big news that we want to share this 2022. Yan, excited na ba kayo? Tingnan natin yung... Alright, for the first announcement, mali pa ako. Naglo-loop. Wait lang. Some big news. Okay, first is if you will go to YouTube, one of our partners, Ramber Financials, is going to have a review of REITs. A while ago, a lot of you are asking about it. The president and CEO, Rex Mendoza, reviews the 5 existing REITs, real estate investment trusts, listed in the Philippine Stock Exchange, AREIT, DDMPR, FILRT, RCR, and MREIT. Shares the different factors affecting the performance of this REIT. So you can go ahead and to their YouTube channel to be able to watch them. Next is on January 30, Sir Nicky, as mentioned a while ago, will be part of the grandest event in the PSE for 2022, which entitled PSE Expo 2022. On January 30, he will talk about something that will strategize your 2022 portfolio management and also investment protection. That talk will be at 1:30 to 2:30 p.m. And if you have friends and family members who are not yet members of MyTrade and you want them to show the showcase of MyTrade, let them register. You can also register in PSE Expo for you to see the virtual booths and also the virtual fair. Ayan. Next is, okay, after the program, the first 2022 playlist will be sent. So just remember just to wait for it. That will be the cover for the January issue. Ayan, malami na tayong mga subscribers who are waiting for the March registration. For those who don't know, March is the MyTrade Affordable Retirement Guide. If you are new to this channel, you'll be able to know more about March playlist. When we talked about it, just check the talk that we have about the playlist. This is the monthly subscription that we provide to our newbies. It's a concentrated portfolio wherein you will be able to be guided on a monthly basis just with the simple symbols of play, pause, stop, remove playlist, and fast forward. So if you want to know more about it, please contact us in our Facebook Messenger. All right. So the first playlist will be sent out today. As for the navigator, the tool that we provide for our um, trading participants or our yung mga regular accounts natin will be updated on Monday with the price for tomorrow. All right. So next is nasaan na ba yun? Ayun. Ayan. So the next big is unlocking. All right. There will be features and programs for MyTrade for 2022 that you guys will be excited, and I know I'm really glad to be sharing it today. This will be just a teaser of what's to come. It's not yet the whole package, but you will find out more about it in the weeks to come. So might as well follow us and subscribe on our channel. Follow us on YouTube, on Twitter, even on LinkedIn, wherever you are watching us right now. Share this to your family members because there will be an upcoming game on challenge wherein you will learn, you will play, and you will win if you have a MyTrade account. So might as well, if you have and you haven't, logged in a while yet, better visit. There will be upcoming upgrades. I know we hear you. There are a lot of requests. It's been that you have been sending us, and I know that there will be up to come. Just be patient and bear with us with the changes that is about to come. So the first one that I want to unlock is all about rewards. On February, we will launch something that you will, the more you choose, the more you use it, the more you can get to choose. So I won't say the details about it, but pretty much you see some of the stuff that you have probably been wondering ano yon. So the more that you use it, the more that you can get to choose. So this is all about rewards program, and we will be happy to launch this on February. So nako, might as well start using again your MyTrade account. Ayan. So for those who have not yet um, open an account, it's never late. So you can register, you can go to our website www.mytrade.com.ph, open an account. Now all you need is a valid ID, a primary and a secondary, and a billing statement for you to prove you as a person. For those who would, and a tin, for those who doesn't have a tin, we will be releasing an announcement from BIR about those people doesn't have a tin. Ayan. So, when we launch this, those we will be giving out something extra to those who have been faithful and been loyal to us all throughout the entire since inception. So we'll be providing a surprise or a gift. Ayan. So if you have not seen yet, just ako na-excite ako nung nakita ko na isa. But that one, I'm really excited to share this with you in the coming weeks. So better stay tuned. All right, next is nasa may drum. Ayan. All right. So the next announcement, something about tools. All right? Sabi nga ng isang saying, a wise man once said, when the student is ready, the teacher will come. And there's an emoji there. But this will be a year of coaching, of mentoring. MyTrade will provide you the tools that you'll be able to learn. Starting off with this Outlook, we know that there are a lot of terms that you are not familiar with, and we will make sure that the terms will be discussed in the coming days. Ayan. So if you are excited, please ano naman dyan, mag-heart man or thumbs up or like or comment excited na me for these things that are about to come. Ayan. Okay, next is another unlocking, upcoming, something that has to do with tools again. this is something that I know that I'm really excited to present in the coming weeks. We'll be giving out a new experience. Change is about to come to our users. So just please just bear with all of the changes that is happening. We're trying to improve. As mentioned, we are in the culture of innovation, and this is, we are gonna stick to our word. We're gonna true to our word. So please just bear with us. There is an upcoming change in your experience as a user. Ayan. So, sino excited? Ako excited ako. Kasi yan, nakikita nyo na, no? We will unlock this little by little. And that's it. I hope you stay the course, and we are here to help. And I know that there are a lot of challenges. If there's something that you want to voice out as a user, marami tayong nakikita ng mga request, and it's all in the pipeline. We just don't want to reveal it yet. Gusto namin pag sure na pag tested na, we will launch it and we will tell you about all about it. All right. So with that, I hope this is just one of the crossroads that you are gonna face for this year, and I hope that one big decision making, whether you are to stay invested, whether you are to get another asset allocation or to diversify, all of these things we will help. And as much as we would like to help everyone with all the questions, but we will try to make it more fun and exciting in terms of trading and investing. And with that, thank you so much, and I hope you stay safe. Thank you for all who wished me well, and I hope you guys, if you are also experiencing the same challenge, I hope you also are in a good shape, and I hope that you overcome this. It's just something that something that you have to cross. Huwag kayong magsistay, huwag kayong magtatambay. All right? Okay, thank you so much, and I hope that we have given you an insightful afternoon for everyone to share. And if you are happy with what you've heard, of what you've seen here, share my trade to your friends and family members. Better your tomorrow. Bye.